Hi, my name is Shaheen Sayadi. I'm a theater maker and I'm a writer, actor, director, and I live here in Burbank in Los Angeles. And as an artist of color, I felt that there's a serious lack of participation from people like me online. And I wanted to occupy this space as much as I can to come online and talk about things that are important to me, like arts, the politics of the day, what's happening in my community, and um, and also something that is very dear and close to me, and that's healthy living for my body and mind, and uh, and that's what we're talking about this time. Um, uh, like I said. I started doing this kind of conversations to have conversations that are unfiltered and open and honest. And that's something that you usually may not see through your usual media. And that's what I'm doing. So please help me welcome my friend. Donna Fahey, and I'm going to bring her online and we can start our conversation about this issue. Hi, Donna.
Hi, sir. Nice to see you. Thank you so much for having me here.
Oh,
I'm so
thank
honored.
you for doing this. This is great. I'm glad you were able to find the time. I know how busy you are with everything you do. Again, thank you for being here.
Thank you.
Donna, please tell us a little bit about yourself. Who are you, what you do, and where are you?
Sure. Um, my name is Donna Fahey. I am a certified health coach. I'm also a fourth degree certified instructor at Inspire Martial Arts here in Burbank. Originally an East Coast native of Delaware, moved out to California about 10 years ago and fell into this amazing community of people who are trying to help people create their best life. So, especially this past year with the pandemic and all the challenges we have faced, I have absolutely reignited my passion for helping other people find that health that I was given as a gift earlier last year as a coach.
And I know that for a fact. You've been my teacher at Inspire Martial Arts. Um, uh, those of you who are just joining us, like I said at the beginning, we're having conversations that are honest and not filtered. If you can, please share with others. And if you cannot share right now, talk about it. We're going to be talking about things that are have affected us, myself and Donna. We're going to talk about those, and we're going to try to be as honest as we can. Um, um, Donna, I want to start with something that was a big issue for myself all my life. Um, as far as I could remember, into my childhood, I always had sleeping problem.
Hmm.
Um, and in my adult life, I saw a lot of doctors, about this, and everybody had, some variation of the same thing, some kind of medicine or some kind of certain exercises or something, and nothing helped. I pretty much tried everything, and finally, it's been about 15 years that I have completely um, abolished it from my life. I mean, there were times
Very
that I
nice.
would, yeah, and there were times that I could not remember when I slept. They
Hmm.
would go on and pile on top of each other. And I could not remember if I slept, if I've been awake for a few days. Um, just like, that image we get from what we call a zombie, like really like not being
Yeah.
there, just everything foggy. And at the same time you have to go on with the family, with work, and everything else. Very challenging, very challenging.
Life doesn't stop.
And it doesn't stop, and I dealt with it. by breaking a habit. Um, and 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 it was to go and complete opposite of what everything else was suggested to me. Instead of trying to go to sleep, I started forcing my body to wake up at a certain time every day.
Mm-hmm.
A completely opposite of, it wasn't about going to sleep. It became about waking up.
Mm-hmm.
And this pattern of, breaking that habit of sleeping whenever or trying to sleep whenever, my body started, the muscles started remembering when to wake up because it was always the same time. And now without any buzzer or clock or anything, my body just wakes up at the same time. I'm up around 5 o'clock in the morning, and regardless of anything, and that forced my body by when nighttime comes and I'm done for the day and I take some time to prepare for the sleep again, like bringing my body down and breaking that habit of still the night might go on. I just fall asleep. And it's been almost 15 years. And this best thing that happened in my life, one of the best things that ever happened in my life that I did myself. And it was about breaking a habit.
Mm-hmm.
How do you,
Is that
what do
funny?
you say about this? Like, I mean, it was completely going, like looking at the habit, not trying to fix anything, but it was some
Mm-hmm.
other habit that was causing it. What do you
Exactly.
have to say about this, Donna?
I think it's what so many of us do. We put a band-aid on a problem, but we don't go upstream to look at why we have that issue, what is causing it. And when you start to look back, you can see, oh, it's not because at 11 o'clock at night I have the munchies. Oh, it's because I didn't regulate my blood sugar throughout the day, and now I'm just grabbing anything. It wasn't that you weren't tired. You didn't, like you said, have the habit of a strong morning ritual, morning routine, and a nighttime routine. I find that having, the bookends on your day so important and can dramatically change your energy level, your mood, how you present yourself throughout the day. So, like you said, we are creatures of habit. The circadian rhythms are important. And with electronics and blue light and all these, Netflix at night, they kind of take us out of sync with nature. So when you found that you got back into sync with nature and you were consistent and your body knew, this is my bedtime, this is my ritual, this is my wake up time, you gave your body a chance to reset and kind of go back to its factory settings. So bravo,
Do-
good job.
Thank you. Thank you. Donna, let's get more into details of how to set our body up for for certain routine for a little bit later. But let's start with really talking about this issue of habits. Can you tell us a little bit more about what do they do to our body and mind? Are there certain habits that you had a challenge with and you had to deal with?
Oh, yes. I think the challenge is that because they are habits, we don't realize sometimes that we're doing it until maybe there's an issue that comes up. So, for me, one of the reasons I became a health coach, there's two main ones, but one of them was I had chronic back pain. And like you, I tried everything. I tried pills, chiropractic, the freeze. I tried not working out harder, stretching, everything. And nothing seemed to work. But what I found was my daily habits just were not supporting the right lifestyle. I had a lot of stress I wasn't handling. My nutrition wasn't as good as it could be. I wasn't sleeping very well. But if you had asked me, I'm a black belt instructor. I'm a martial artist. Of course, I'm healthy and I look healthy on the outside. But when I did focus on, rituals, my habits, looked at my nutrition better, looked at my morning routines better, I found there were a lot of gaps. So I'm proud to say this whole past year, zero back pain, completely gone. And this was, again, chronic debilitating for the past 7 years.
I remember you used to complain about it.
Oh,
after,
yes.
a couple of hours of class, you would say, is there? I mean, you wouldn't
I wouldn't
see
train.
it, but
It would take 5 minutes to get out of bed or sit down. Like, it was awful, absolutely awful. Hmm. Of
but
course, that
why not
goes into all areas of your life.
why not just take the pill? Is much easier and is science. Why not just take the pill and deal with it?
Um, I did. I tried
Hmm.
because I was in so much pain. I tried everything, but it's just another Band-Aid. It gave me a headache. I didn't feel myself, and I really wasn't addressing why I was having the chronic
Yeah.
back pain. Turns out inflammation, poor diet, not enough hydration, not managing my sleep well, and take for instance, just talk about one habit in the morning.
Hmm.
Not looking at my phone first thing, not looking at the emails that come in of all the stress and things going on, just not looking at it, and instead, taking time to practice gratitude, some stretches, some meditation, getting centered for the day, big glass of water, and then shifting gears and starting the day. So,
No, I want to come back to this because I want to hear. I think everybody want to hear. Your routine. But you said something very interesting. You said, the pill. I mean, again, we're just talking about ourselves. We're not talking about, we're not prescribing a general thing for everybody. Everybody has different issues and different pains, um, but you said that it was not dealing with it was just a band-aid and not dealing with the actual problem, and that actual problem is that uh, um, your body was used to your body and mind was used to a certain routine and going through those routines. Um, but you were still working out. I mean, you're fourth grade black belt. Like, you've been doing this for a long time, and I've seen you. You're like amazing. Flexibility, your power, and your strength, and your technique is like amazing. Everybody says that. Uh, it's not like you were not doing these things. I mean, it was very clear that Donna's eating well and she's exercising, she's doing all the right thing, but she still has some stuff that that others don't see. There's still, even somebody like Donna has
oh
this
yeah,
some of these habits.
I think everybody puts on, their highlight reel,
Hmm.
because how can I be a martial artist and not be in shape, not be fit? How can I, gain the trust of a student and not perform? But like you said, there are things that you hide, there are things that get buried, things that aren't addressed that you can kind of muscle through. But that's not really living your best life at all. That's not living to your potential. So I realized, I'm 46 now. I needed to change some things.
But no, no. I mean, we were talking about this before our talk. This takes a real courage. I mean, that's going deep inside and emotionally. I for myself, with many things, I have to deal with something inside,
Hmm.
and that's not the easy thing. I mean, for us to stand in front of the mirror and say, "Yes, I'm great in these things. However, I'm actually weak when it comes to that issue, and I have to recognize it." I mean, how do you do it? I mean, these are not easy things. It takes a lot of courage, and you come
Thank
and
you.
talk about them on your social media to the students. You come and openly talk about it. It takes a lot of courage, but how do you do it? How do you actually go inside and say, Donna, you got a problem, you got to fix this? I mean, that's not the easy thing to do. Please help me there.
You know what I realized, Shaheen?
Yeah.
I'm not alone.
Mm,
If I struggle with something, I know there's other people struggling out there. So when you
mm,
can live out loud and be transparent and be vulnerable, I think people can connect with you and relate to you, and they can see themselves in you. Whether that is with your finances or your health or your lifestyle. I don't think it's, I mean, everybody knows I moved here. I wanted to be an art director. I thought, I have an art degree. I moved out here. I quit my job, a very comfortable one. But I mean, under that layer was a very angry, short-tempered, upset person. And I can definitely say that's why I started at Inspire Martial Arts. I started the kickboxing program. I just wanted to get some stress out and hit something. But, what I found was this community of people also trying to improve themselves and improve their health, improve their mental capacity. I have a wonderful mentor, as you know, with Grandmaster Keith Winkle and Chief Katie Paragory. And I realized I wasn't alone. So if they can be open enough to welcome me with all my flaws, all the things I need to work on, I think it's important to show that and be open to others. So, when I do go on my social media and I talk about something that I've been struggling with, I'm hoping that I reach out to somebody who's also struggling with it too. And maybe, they'll just know that they're not alone. I'm not perfect. I have stress too. We all go through it. Especially this year, it's definitely, I stayed in my pajamas. I didn't shower for 3 days. It was depression. It was, oh my God, what's happening? And a lot of thoughts, racing in my head, hard to sleep. But then kind of, I think the ability to recognize that you need help, recognize that, you've kind of strayed from your healthy habits, and get back on track faster. I think that's really what we're looking for. Not perfect, but, can you move that dial every day towards health, towards progress?
I'm speechless. I'm thinking. I mean, what you say is so. I'm just thinking about yourself because, I've been dealing with this, not just with the, with the pandemic, but the pandemic has certainly highlighted a lot of the depressive elements inside me. But what I hear from you is that you can actually, by recognizing oneself's weaknesses, recognizing them and being honest with myself, and instead of coming out and being a teacher, coming out and just saying that I don't know and I have this, that's amazing. Yeah, thank you for that.
I think when you align yourself and can walk arm in arm with someone and not, necessarily tell them what to do, but share your experience, I think that's more powerful. Like you sharing with your insomnia, your inability to sleep, and then you found an answer. Why wouldn't people want to hear that? I mean, sleeplessness, not sleeping well, it affects how you show up in the day, your energy level, you're snippy with your kids, short-tempered at work, you cannot, lose weight, your mind races, stress. So to know that you're not alone, I think is so important. And especially now, to know that there's a community out there, with your message and, our coaching community, because we are isolated so much and, depression has crept up. And I hear from, clients every day, this has been the toughest year, but it's also been the best year of transition and transformation, because they've had the time and decided to focus on their health and move forward. So I think it's all perspective and, is everything happening to me, or, do you decide to, be the creator, be the author in your life? And I am not a victim. I can take control, and it may take time, and it's not going to be like the infomercials that we see, overnight success. It takes work, but it is worth it because you're worth it. You only have one body.
We only have one body and one life, and the time is very limited.
Yes.
Donna, tell us about your routine. Walk us through. I mean, your ultimate routine. And then um, um, I like to talk about. Excuse me.
Bless you.
Um, I like to talk about perhaps what triggers the break from the routine, and how do you get back in there?
Hmm.
Tell us your routine, what you really would like to see every day with Donna, and
Um,
that you do most days.
yes, I'll tell you, I did not have this routine before I became a health coach, and our Healthy Habits program really saved my emotional and mental health this past 9 months. So
Mm,
without this habit, without these routines, without these rocks in my life, I think the last 9 months could have been looking very, very different. So
mhm,
I'm very grateful for having already worked on establishing them. Um, and I'll also say it's it, it's not it's simple, but sometimes it's not easy. So I'm human too. I mess up. Things derail
yeah.
me. But like I said, I can get back on track a lot faster. So when I wake up in the morning, and this is something that I got from my coach and my mentor, Grandmaster, which he got from his mentor as well. Um, well, I'll actually start at nighttime. He taught us, when you are closing your eyes and you lay your head down on the pillow, think about your day and did you do your best? Was it your best day? If today was your last day on the earth, are you happy with it? And if not, what would you change? And if it was great, what parts of it were amazing? And, recognize them. So
Mhm,
in the morning when I wake up, I don't look at my phone. I don't go through my emails. I don't check my texts and all the news alerts. Um, I wake up and
Donna, sorry. Let's go back. So that was before sleep. Do you do anything to get your body like physically ready for sleep?
oh, yes. This is also part of our Healthy Habits program, the two bookends of your day. So, for example, about 3 or 4 hours before I go to bed, I will stop eating. I will
Mhm,
stop, water intake so I don't get up in the middle of the night to go to the bathroom. Um, I clean up my work, and my work day is ended. And especially now when everybody's working from home, I think it's important to have boundaries.
mhm,
So work day ends, and now it's my time.
mhm,
I switched binging, although I do watch still some shows on Netflix. I stopped total binging on shows. So I fill that time now with a podcast. Maybe when I'm cleaning up my dishes or when I go on a walk with Loki. I've switched reruns of movies I've already watched with TED Talks, so I can hear from other bright minds on topics that interest me. And then, of course, that sparks more things for how I can help my clients and my friends. Um, I do reading at night. Um, I would love to say that I journal, but I don't. But it's
mhm,
something I'm working on. So that's a weak habit right now. Um, and then no TV in the bedroom. I don't look at my phone. I read, and then bedtime is bedtime. And,
mhm,
and when I go to sleep, I kind of review my day, look at the things I've done well, things if maybe if I snapped at somebody, or I let my mind run, or I didn't do as well as I could in a conversation. I kind of replay it in my head and think of what I can do better. It
mhm,
might be to reach out to the person in the morning. It might be to just make a note of why that happened and how I can avoid it next time. And then I go to sleep. And then when I wake up in the morning, don't look at the phone. Don't look at all those things. Um, I at least 5 things I'm grateful for. Um, and they don't have to be different from the day before. But I mean, I have a roof over my head. I have food on the table.
mhm,
I have friends. I have families. I have people who care about me. My dog Loki. It can be something small like that. It could be that a friend texted me the other day and said, "How are you?"
mhm,
I had that post about Loki. He was at the vet, And so many people asked, how is he doing, and checking in on me. I meditate, and when I say I meditate, everybody has their idea of what it is or what it should be. But for me, it's simply allowing thoughts to come in your mind and allowing them to go out. So I heard it described once really well, as a thought comes in, a window opens in your mind, and your job is to shut it, and then keep closing those windows. It's in, it's out, and then another one, and not to really linger on any, but kind of see where your mind is, and then center yourself. I do some stretching, big glass of
So
water.
you sit first, and then you start your stretching.
I have a little stretch routine, big glass of water, brush my teeth, coffee, like most people, and then take Loki for a walk. I think it's so important to get outside, some fresh air, and I love that he's created that habit for me. I cannot sleep in too late. I can't stay out too late, because I respect him and his needs. So we go out for a walk, get our vitamin D at least 3 times a day, and usually the morning walk is shorter, the afternoon walk is longer, and then I'm ready to start my day.
Okay, that's interesting. That you're clearly saying that your day starts after the dinner the night before. Your day, nothing starts for you without the preparation. That's what I'm finding very interesting. Everything you're saying, you're recognizing the prep for it. It's not like I do this. You're always recognizing the prep for it. And your day starts after dinner. It's important for you that you're saying that I stop eating after dinner. Now is my time. The things that are especially separate from work, they're separate from work, and they're especially important to you and your time. And that's without any food, only water and things that are dear to you. And that's really your start of the day. You're not saying that, I get up in the morning and I do these things. And that's very interesting. Um, um, when you sit, Donna, do you have any specific way of sitting and doing your breathing, or no? You just simply sit and try to. Can you walk us a little bit through that, if you can?
Oh,
If
sure.
not, we can.
Again, this is something that I learned from Grandmaster Keith Winkle, that was passed on from his mentor. Simply laying in bed and breathing a belly breath in and making it less nasal but more deep belly. Like when you watch children breathe, their whole belly goes in and out. It's not up here with anxiety. So simply laying on your bed is great. If you can sit, cross-legged comfortably, you can also sit in a chair. But and there's so many methods of breathing. I like the box method of breathing. In, hold, out, hold. Just simply focusing on your breath makes you present, and you can't be thinking of 10 other million thoughts. Or as the thoughts come in as part of that meditation, just simply recognize that they are and let them go. So breathing centers you, keeps you in the now, keeps you present.
And how many times a day you do that?
Well, I'll do it in the morning. I'll do it in the evening. And I honestly will do it when I feel stressed out. And I can tell I'm stressed out because my shoulders will start going like this. And I start noticing I've stopped breathing, either because I'm stressed or nervous or, frustrated. So, when they say take a breath, take a breath. Also, on my phone, I have a reminder that tells me to breathe. So
yeah, I have that too. On the hour, 1 minute of breathing. I do a lot of breathing, and I think I'm having a good control over it. And in the school of acting, different schools of acting, this is common that the most important thing we have to get hold of is our breathing. And the way we understand it is that that general science of breathing, that when we're born, our breathing is in our stomach. and is at the core. But as we grow older, our breathing, because of learning about things and not knowing what they are, we start uh, um, fear of everything because of unknown. And that's what brings the breathing up to the
Mhm.
chest and the shoulders. And that's why anxiety and fear is always related to the, and as
Yeah.
adults, our bodies have become, muscles have learned to keep the breathing up here.
Mhm.
And, we try to put it back. And that's the old science of yoga and sitting and breathing simply. Um, and
And
like
I think
you said,
flexibility too.
I'm
You know,
sorry.
when you say breathing and flexibility, I think
Mhm.
it also relates to your mental thinking as well. You know, you have rigid, uptight, structured,
Mhm.
unforgiving, closed-minded thinking. Um, I think it shows physically as well. I think they're
Absolutely.
absolutely related.
Yeah. And I don't separate them. When for me, a lot of people, especially in the Western world, they separate yoga from meditation. But I think in the Eastern world, and a lot of people um, uh, understand it. I understand it certainly this way, that all of it is the same thing. All of it is yoga. All of it is just sitting and not doing anything.
Hmm.
And and I wanted to ask you about this again, about the sitting and breathing. What do you do with the thought when the thoughts come? Because you said that you let them come and then you let them go.
Hmm.
You try to control this coming and going, or no, you're just sitting?
That's a great question. And I can say it's definitely something that I've learned from our Healthy Habits program recently. We call it Stop, Challenge, and Choose. And, you know, let's say you have a thought, you have a trigger, a response. There's that gap in between the two. And if you can identify it and make it bigger, it can stop you from, or allow you the opportunity to stop yourself from doing something that you might regret later. So let's say, for example, um, I met my upset customer, or a upset phone call, or driving in LA traffic, someone swerves in front of you. Who hasn't that happened to? You have a chance at that moment. I can road rage and get real close to them and honk my horn and tell them things with my fingers and yell at them, and my blood pressure can go up, and
Yeah.
I can shorten my life really for something they might not even know that they did.
Mhm.
Or I have a choice to be like, you know what, I'll create a different story. Maybe they're in a hurry to go home. Maybe, their father just slipped and fell and they have to rush home. Maybe they have to pee really bad.
Mhm.
Something. So I can, like, you know what, I'm going to let them go. That's okay. So if you can identify that thought and kind of spin it in your head before you react, and you realize that you are responding, not reacting, and you make that choice, the world is your oyster all of a sudden, and you can determine what is the best one. You could use it for, emotional triggers. You're feeling sad, upset. You heard something, upsetting on the news. You can open your freezer and grab that tub of ice cream and get to the bottom of it. Get those, Doritos, or you can take a
Or not
minute.
have them in your fridge.
Or yes, because you're going
No.
back upstream. When you're at the grocery store, walk by like this.
Yes,
Um,
the
so
prep time.
exactly. So you have a choice. You could
And
call a
Dana, I
friend.
don't understand it. How does this relate to the way in which you do your breathing and your sitting?
Well, when I have a thought, I have an opportunity to decide what to do with it. I can file it for later and say this is something that I might need to address.
Mhm.
It could be, have you ever thought about a conversation you had with a friend and you're like, oh, why did I say that? It didn't go the way I wanted, and
So you're saying you pick and choose what you want to think
as
about and
you're
which
sitting,
one to let go.
yeah, as it comes through, you have a choice. Do I reach out to that person? Do I beat myself up about it? Or do I simply note it and let it go? So if we're talking about
And
sitting,
I don't. I just want, yeah, I do exact, and not exact opposite, but I do. I don't do that. I try to just sit, and if the thought comes, which comes, and there's a lot of them, I just simply like I don't pick and choose which one. I try not to think about any of it. I try to just follow my breath. But I just wanted us to identify that people do this differently.
oh,
And
sure.
yeah, I just thoughts come and they go, and I go back to my breathing, and I try to follow my breath and not. Um, I have experienced that the things that are important in my day, they will appear themselves later after my sitting. The one and they're the ones that were important to me. The answers become clear to me. But it's interesting that you're saying that you actually pick and choose what you want to concentrate and focus on, and which one not. And um, do you try to give, like, if one day you feel like you need to sit more, do you sit more, or no, you have a certain time you give to your sitting in the morning?
The morning and evening, of course, but I would say when I do feel more out of tune, I like to go back to nature. So I will go on a hike and sit sit
Yeah.
outside and become more present.
When you sit in the morning and afternoon, what's the time?
Oh, well, for the sitting and breathing, it's after I wake up and before I go to
No, but
sleep.
how long? For how long?
Probably 5 minutes, not long.
Okay. Yeah. Donna, before I want us to talk about food and food habits and things that you and we have found that works for us. Again, anything we say here is just things that work for us. We're not
Exactly.
prescribing anything for anybody. Uh, but a lot of things throw off my routine. Especially in these times. I remember it was in middle of the pandemic, in middle of the year, somebody said something interesting. It said, as a theater maker, we went out of work before everybody else, and we're at the bottom of the list for reopening. So mentally, it's a very difficult time for people in my community. And somebody said, even though we're not working, I have never found myself this busy. It's and I saw a lot of truth in that. How many things I have to deal with in a day that even though I don't have a show, um, and there's four of us, all four of us, two going to school and two working. Everybody from home. A lot of things threw off my routine, and
Oh
I'm
yeah.
sure yours too. How do you get back to it? Like, how much time do you spend on, okay, this went off? Do you try to catch up with it, or you go on with the rest of the routine?
Yeah, this year has been quite unique, but I think it all, and I think you would agree as well. It's your mindset and what you decide you want to do. I know for me, with our school at Inspire Martial Arts, Grandmaster said in the beginning, he's like, you know what, we're never gonna have this time again. So you can take this time and work on yourself and set the goal of, I'm going to I'll be a better version of me when I'm finished. Or, you can spiral out and watch TV and the news and just get upset about everything and not make any progress. So, personally, and I know for many of my friends, although this year has been so challenging, and in no way is it not terrible for so many, because of COVID and unemployment and all the things. For me, it's been an opportunity to do a lot of self-work and use this time where things have slowed down to do things that I could not do before. So for instance, with our business, he challenged the students to use this time and do things now to prepare for when things reopen and get started, and we're busy and we're too busy to do everything that we said we wanted to do. So one of the areas was, of course, health. You can choose, and when I say health, it's not just weight management. It's also your mind, it's your surroundings, who you are hanging out with. It's how you move your body, healthy motion. It's your nutrition. What are you putting into your body? It's what are you putting into your body this way too? What are you reading? What are you watching? So absolutely, that was one of the areas that I was able to personally improve and also help other people, my clients and friends as well. I think one of the biggest winners of this pandemic has been my stepfather, Bill, who is my heart. The reason I wanted to become a coach, I was so frustrated that I could not, as a fitness instructor and martial artist, I can't help my family simply because they can't come to the studio. So, with our Healthy Habits program, you can reach everybody, across the country. And, he's lost 60 pounds. He can go up and down steps like he's 20. His goal is to dance at each of his 7 grandkids' weddings, and live to be 100. So, so
that's amazing. And how old
absolutely. He's in his mid 70s, mid 70s. So it's never too late.
That's great.
But to answer your question, I think even now it's not too late to make that decision that you want to do and make changes. Absolutely, my habits and routines got thrown off in the beginning, just because it was so much coming at me. And I realized all of a sudden my back pain is back. I'm angry. I'm frustrated. I'm short-tempered again. And I'm like, oh, okay. What can I control? I cannot.
But what kind of things were triggering? What kind of things were triggering going off the routine?
Oh, well, as a Inspire Martial Arts is a fitness center, so we were one of the first to be closed as well. So closed, and oh my God moment, like every day, 3, 4, 5 families, we're now unemployed. We can't pay tuition. We need to cancel. We need to put our payments on hold. How are our students get to school? Scrambling to try to learn Zoom. And, we barely know how to operate the camera and the mechanics of it. How do we stay connected? What do they need? Just all these unknowns, how would we pay our staff? How would we survive? And then also just unknowns about, what was COVID? Is it here for a minute? Is it truly as bad as they're saying? Is it just, media hype, or is this something, behind it? So lots of unknowns, but, with every obstacle, you find that opportunity. So, we got our black belt in Zoom right away. And then that led us to, wow, if a student can take classes virtually here in Burbank, why can't we do it, anywhere? So we actually have students tuning in virtually in Puerto Rico, Florida, Virginia, Illinois. So obstacle, opportunity. How can we help our students and parents and our team stay healthy? So, we, partnered with this amazing company, and we started our Healthy Habits program. And I think helping them with the community and support, and just knowing that we're still here and showing up and living what we teach our students. I think the true thing that helped me stay on track was, when you help others, you don't have time to be worried about yourself. So the more that you can help others, that definitely was, game changer for me.
Mm. Um, one of the things I did pretty much early on with after the pandemic started was taking off all the notifications off my phone.
Yeah.
My phone just doesn't have, I don't see any red dots coming up, and I found that very helpful.
Mhm.
When I go, it's not like I'm putting my phone down and not looking at my email. And we had very challenging time with some of my work in Canada, and
Mhm.
we had to stay on top of it because things went like completely shut down, and we had to see what we're doing and where is our role, and where do we fit in the whole scene. But I found that very helpful, uh, and to keep me stay in my, try to stay in my routine. Uh, but what I found actually more challenging was when I would go to social media, and or that great new show on Netflix, and there's one season after another,
Yeah.
and then just sitting and just
Yeah.
feeling
Also,
like
it's 3 a.m.
and it's 2 a.m. or 3 a.m.
Yeah.
or
Yeah.
like 2 days is gone. Um, um, and adding to that, the triggers of uh, uh, depression, and and then feeling guilty about it. And one of the things that I found helpful again, when those things happen, um, like we're having a really difficult time right now. I watched 3 shows on Netflix. I'm not gonna feel guilty about it.
Mhm.
I'm just I accept it. I did it. I shouldn't have done it, but I did it. You know, um, whatever. I'm not gonna sit here and feel guilty about it, and I'm just gonna continue what I think is right for my body and my mind and for myself. Um, yeah, that's how I've been trying, or going off my food diet, and just every once in a while grabbing that ice cream, and but dealing with this issue of guilt and putting that guilt back on myself, I find it's not helpful. If I do
Yes.
it and I think it's wrong, it's I just accept it. I did it, whatever. I shouldn't have done it, I did it. But now I go, instead of worrying about, I did prepare for it, but I went off. um, How about you? Can you tell like few little things? I mean, they seem to be like very small things, but the effect on the whole day and on your mental health becomes quite large. These little things, like watching 3 shows on Netflix, or
Mhm.
a little bit of ice cream. How do you deal with how do you get yourself back in line?
It's a good question. Um, it's something that I've learned this year, is curiosity.
Mhm.
And it's something that, Grandmaster has mentioned many, many times. So, and you're absolutely right. You have saying of, I messed up my diet. I messed up my day. I did, this one thing, and you're just kind of make a mountain out of a molehill. And, if we say, if your car has a flat tire, you don't slash the other 3 tires, you fix the one and you move on. So I absolutely have been there of like, oh, why did I do that? And I shouldn't have done that. And then you just keep spinning your wheels stuck in the past, but you can't, unless you have a time machine, you can't fix it. So
Yeah.
all you can do is learn from it. So approaching it with a curious mindset of like, that's interesting. That happened. It did. I'm not going to stay in the state of beating myself up about it. I cannot change it, but, you know, why did it happen? Did I not get a good night's sleep? Or were my blood sugars, out of whack? Did I not fuel my body right? Am I stressed out? Is there something I need to address with this person that, caused me to react? And I think when you enter in a state of curiosity, with it brings some grace. We all have so much going on this year, and especially parents, and like you said, working from home, and your kids are on Zoom, and it's loud, and you're cramped, and we're not connecting, and we're not doing the normal routine that we would to, our, as a stress valve, get rid of all that. You would come to class and work out, or your son would have his schoolmates to play with and talk it through at the recess. Without that, it kind of gets all bottled up. So I think remembering to give yourself some grace, it's okay. It's okay that you ate the ice cream. It's okay. It's okay. And then move forward, if that's making you feel so bad about it, let's not get the ice cream next time, or let's get a smaller portion, or, let's make it, a conscious treat. I'm going to have this and I want it. And that's the end of it. No guilt. So yeah. Absolutely.
Let's talk about the fuel for the body. I learned this long time ago. That is really, I think, is a big mistake when we say fuel for the body. It's really for the whole thing. It's for body and mind, whatever we put in it. I think that's it's a very wrong way of looking at it when we say, I need this to gain muscle, or I need that to lose weight, or I think it's about the whole thing. And I was lucky. Me and my sister, we grew up at my grandparents' house, and my grandmother, she took care of a lot of people in the house. A small house. We had enough, but nothing. There was nothing extra. There was nothing extra, and she did. Everything was fresh and homemade. We hardly ate anything that was in a box, or had preservatives in it. I grew up in southern Iran, and was very balanced. There was fish and meat, but a lot of vegetables and beans and a lot of spices. But very balanced. I found it, now looking back, you don't think about those things in your young adult time. But now looking back, saying this is where I picked up the habits. I grew up in that setting. Everything was made fresh. Hardly anything out of a box or out of can. She made everything, and that's what I try to do. We try to have. It's been a long time in our home, trying not to eat out of package, trying to eat things that are fresh. But especially this year, with the concern with extra cleaning of stuff, we've been staying more with frozen or dry vegetables. But overall, I think we have a very good balanced diet in our house. Our kids eat everything because that's what we put in front of them. We didn't put candy and stuff on the table. We put vegetables on the table. So that's what they eat. That's what they eat because that's all they saw. But not everybody has had this kind of, the majority of people in our community, they grew up on a lot of pre-made food and not very, it doesn't come to the majority of the people when we look around. These things don't come to them naturally because that's not what they saw growing up. How do you deal with the issue of food? And how do you deal with the whole, there's a whole culture of it. It's very hard to keep those things out of the house.
First of all, to Shaheen's listeners, if you don't already know, he's an amazing chef. I have been to his house. I have eaten his food. Oh my God, if you ever get an invite, so good. So good. And, all things, equal, if you could create the best meals, yeah, it would be, prepared that day, pick from your backyard garden, organically sourced and the best possible. But you're right, not everybody has access to it. There's food deserts. You can't get a fresh vegetable. You only have the corner market stores. The nearest grocery store might be, an hour's drive. Marketing, just simple education of what is good food, what is healthy food. And, I think there's a big difference between
There's a lot of noise out there.
Yeah, I'm trying to lose weight versus I'm trying to, maintain my weight and a healthy lifestyle. And then you get advertising, low fat, low cal, low carb, organic, non-GMO. It's confusing. It's very confusing. So, one of the aspects of the Healthy Habits program is the educational part of it. So, I mean, there's things I'm still learning that I had no idea about with food. Yes, vegetables, 100%. But even within vegetables, some are higher in natural carbs, and you want to potentially avoid those if you're trying to lose weight.
Give us a sample of your
Yes.
breakfast and lunch and dinner, Donna.
Oh, sure. I'll start with dinner. I think my new favorite is spaghetti squash. I don't know if you've seen some of my posts on that, but
I have seen that one.
I love it. It's seasonal. You get so much from it. It's a good substitute for the typical spaghetti noodles or pasta. I love it with some
get a lot of fiber.
Turkey and marinara. Fiber, absolutely. Most Americans don't get enough fiber. Lunch would be something light. It could be potentially leftovers from the night before. I like to use my crock pot a lot. Kind of set it and forget it because we're all busy. Plus, it makes my house smell really good since I'm working from there. Breakfast could be, eggs, some avocado toast. I let go of the juice. I always have coffee. I'm not giving that up. Big glasses of water in the beginning and after. If you were to look in my fridge now, lots of vegetables in the bottom. I try to buy my meat fresh. Nothing wrong with frozen vegetables at all. And I think that our even our canning process has improved greatly, from back when our grandparents were there. But it sounds like
absolutely some have.
Sure. So flash freezing, why not? Especially if you're going to go and go shopping one time for the week and load up for your family. That's certainly better than the processed food out there. But I also understand, you got 3 kids and they're all busy and you're coming home late from work and you're tired and you just want something quick. And sometimes that's not optimal, but when you can and you're able to find that time to prepare a meal together, why not get the kids involved? Why not help them, do age appropriate, prep, maybe setting the table or, mixing things in the mixing bowl or, allowing them to watch your process, like what you were sharing, about was it your aunt?
My grandmother.
Your grandma. So because she shared that with you, she affected 2 generations right now. That's how that's how you see food. And it sounds like she cooked with a lot of love as well.
Yes.
So, I think we've all gotten busy, but why not take one meal a week and make that effort and start there and then see what kind of waterfall effect it has. I don't think it has to be complicated, just one. And then, maybe it becomes more.
Yeah, absolutely. And keeping it simple, I think that's been secret. That's been a key for me in a lot of things. Trying not to complicate issues. If I have a challenge, really trying to look at it and break it down to simple elements and see what really the issue is here. I mean, it's a vegetable. What do you do with it? Either you wash it and you eat it. If it's if it doesn't taste that great to you, not cooked, then just cook it for just a couple of minutes. With fish, a lot of people don't know this, but there are a lot of frozen fish that they're frozen fresh, and a
Hmm.
lot of fish that is in the stores, they
Oh,
were
yes.
caught, a month ago. But that frozen one might be actually frozen fresh, and most of those ones are wild caught and
Hmm.
not grown in pools and stuff. Um,
I
and
love
they're much
fish.
cheaper and much cheaper. And I try to look for those things. Not just seeing something that is nice and fresh is not necessarily may not be the best choice, or something that a package says organic. Well, organic, but what else is in it with the organic? What is the organic thing in it? It's still in a package.
Yeah.
Um,
The,
yeah.
diet
I
or
think
low fat or low carb.
thinking the whole thing
Yeah.
simple. Yeah.
It's
One of
marketing and it's
another thing I
confusing.
have allowed my body to do is just to eat when it needs it. We have got into this routine of, I get up in the morning, now I have to have breakfast. Now it's 12 o'clock, I have to have lunch. Now it's 6 o'clock, I have to have dinner.
Mhm.
Well, some days your body just doesn't need it. And that's the day that your body can rest, perhaps, or maybe just have two meals. I mean, um, again, just coming, just taking it simply and allowing the body just to speak for itself and just paying attention to this instead of just norms. Yeah,
Mhm. Mhm.
I find that helpful too. Yeah.
I think for me, the key is regulating, my blood sugars, making sure I don't have those huge insulin dumps. Go, I would wake up at, 7 and I might not eat until 3. And then I realize I'm really hungry and
Yeah.
hangry. And then I have this huge meal and then I'm
And that's
tired
not
and I
good.
need a nap.
Absolutely. Yeah.
That wasn't the best. So,
No, that's
so,
not. Yeah.
but listening to your body, like you're saying,
Yeah.
absolutely.
Donna, give us is something that you think we missed and we should mention? Is there something? I mean, this coming year, I don't see it is going to be any easier. And especially, last year we were dealing with a lot of unknown. Now we know what's ahead, so we just have to wait and sit and wait. Um, Give us a word of wisdom for how we're going to deal with the rest of this time.
I've been hearing this quote a lot this year.
Mhm.
You've survived 100% of your bad days.
Okay.
So, you know what? I think we tend to get, like you said, we overcomplicate things. We forget to keep it simple.
Mhm.
And, when you start to think of everything all at once and piling it on,
Mhm.
yeah, I think it makes you stop all action out of fear and then you're frozen. So why not keep it simple and just pick one thing you want to work on? Like I said, if you can move that dial 1% towards your goal, whether that be, health or finances or whatever you're working on, just this one small habit. And like you were saying, look a little bit more upstream. It's not what happened, but, let's think back what caused that. How could we avoid it completely? So yeah, simple.
Yeah.
Simple is the way to
Just
go.
keeping it simple. Absolutely. Donna, thank you so much.
Thank you, sir.
This was really nice. And, I really enjoy listening to you and just being in your company, and very wise person. And I really enjoy listening to you and your perspective on things.
Thank you.
Um,
Thank you for having
yeah.
me.
Thank you very much for doing this. Yeah. And this will, after this, it will live on my YouTube channel. Um, and everybody, like we said at the beginning, these are important issues. I think the biggest thing that I got out of what Donna said earlier on here was that you got to talk about issues. Yes, the only way we can move on. If I have something that I think is a problem with me, then there's somebody out there who probably have the same issue. So
Mhm.
keep talking, and keep connecting with the right person. Uh, yeah. Thank
Take
you very
care.
much, everybody.
Take
Bye.